and welcome to That's What I'm Trying to Tell You, the podcast where women from different generations sit down to share their unique perspectives on life, current events, and everything in between. So join us as we navigate through topics with laughter, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of authenticity. I don't think it's crazy to say that wokeness has reached its peak in Western culture, but the world as well, with all the ads you see on TV with more inclusive models maybe, or like recently with this Sydney Sweeney controversy about the American Eagle. Sydney Sweeney has good genes, how people, particularly liberals, have taken it to mean that American Eagle is promoting some kind of alt-right Nazi fantasy. So let's talk about it because I don't think we all feel that way.
Well, I will say something that, my kids notice, just kind of going back to bowing down to wokeness and what you might call performative representation. Like they would watch these Disney shows,
Oh,
right? And they're
yeah.
about like young people and groups of friends. And I suppose it's not just Disney, but even that show, the Sex and the City continuation, and just like
Oh, yeah, just like that. And that just got canceled.
well, yeah, it just got canceled. But like what the kids noticed with these Disney shows is they said, it's really weird. They have these kids on there and they're supposed to be in middle school or high school stuff and they're all friends. But just to be truthful, they're really not kids you would ever see all hanging around
together.
Right. And it just seems odd.
Mm-hmm.
And, Sex and the City got a lot of backlash after the fact about why it was just such a white show, right? These women are all white. And, okay, I do understand representation, but that was what the show was about. It was about these four women.
Mm-hmm.
They happen to all be white.
Exactly.
A lot of groups of friends, four women, they're all white. Four women, they're all Asian. Four women, they're all black.
Well, you had that same thing going on, too, when Friends was on.
Right.
Which I'd never watched because I was watching Living Single.
Right.
Which is the black version of Friends and vice versa.
Right. But it would be weird. It would be kind of weird if they mixed it in a certain kind of way because you'd be like, would those people really be friends and hanging out together? They like not, I'm not coming at this from a racist point of view, but it's more of a cultural point of view. And yes, we all want to have friends of different races, also because partly what that does, right, is it exposes you to a different world from what you're living in. But there's nothing wrong with having friends or close friends that are all similar to you, whatever that may be.
Exactly. Or what if you grow up around,
Right. Right. There's a certain level of comfort with that. And it's not that anybody's trying to be racist. I guess that's what I find funny. And, and just like that came out, I just watched a couple of episodes and was like, I can't deal with this show because
did the same thing.
It felt like the diversity was really forced in there so that where it wasn't feeling organic.
I agree. I say the same about these ads now that you see like post.
I guess
it's been post-Trump, his first tenure in office. Like, really? There's an Asian guy and a black woman on this Tide ad, or an older middle-aged white guy with a Latina lady here. Yeah, I'm like, really? And they get the kids to go in there, and it's like, this is...
Or they're two dads now.
Yeah. Oh, that was happening, I would say, in the early 2000s.
Seeing it so much more now.
Yeah. But it's all like super duper woke. And it's like these people wouldn't be together in real life. I'm sure there are couples that exist like that, but is it really selling more Tide to make this an inclusive show? Right.
Well, it's also kind of interesting because I'm in a mixed marriage, and in California, it's very common, of course, to see Asian women with white men.
And I bet you never think about it, huh? Do you ever think about it?
I think about it sometimes.
Okay.
But it's not like something I'm super conscious of all the time. I am conscious sometimes when we go to other parts of the country.
Yes.
And that's also what's funny to me about seeing all these ads, because like you see tons of ads where it's like a white guy and an Asian woman, let's say, or a white guy and a black woman. And you're like, okay, we live in California.
I've seen that.
That's unusual, right?
Right.
But I'm thinking, I do wonder how it plays across the country. right? I mean, like, how
Like
did
in
they
Alabama.
yeah, how do they see that?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's just kind of interesting that, it's this sort of enforced wokeness
Mhm.
that's sort of bizarre.
True. I say Bridgerton. I love that show because I like romance shows, but Bridgerton is a huge example of that. Like this would not be a
Well,
mixed race society in Regency England.
right,
Like,
right. The thing I like about Bridgerton, well, and I really only watched the first season.
okay.
I watched some of the second season, but got annoyed with some of the characters, and then I think I watched maybe the third season. What I kind of liked about it was they didn't lean into race.
That's true.
Right? It was almost like it was almost colorblind. And they started leaning into race a little more later. In the very
Yeah.
beginning, I thought, oh, this is really cool. It's completely colorblind. Then they started kind of leaning into that more. And I don't know whether that was always going to be the case or whether they decided to do that after the show became really popular and everything. But it's just, I mean, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be diversity, but just sometimes it seems
Very
oddly
forced. Yeah. And it's like they're trying to make a political statement because I'll say I'm a little more conspiracy leaning now. Not that I necessarily believe everything that's put out there, but it's like you see all this stuff and it's kind of being forced down your throat. You watch a movie and it's like two lesbians are the lead now for a romantic comedy film or a little holiday film. That wasn't the case. And that's fine, okay, because those communities need their forms of entertainment too. When that becomes the norm and then it becomes more prevalent, and then you have an ad like this Sydney Sweeney ad come out, and then people, like, when has a white woman selling an attractive white woman selling something like an article of clothing or a hamburger for those Carl's Jr.'s ads, how is that then your woke liberal mind goes to, oh, they're promoting some kind of Aryan fantasy or pro-white, like,
Well, they said that because she's a
Shields.
registered Republican.
Right. I mean, if we're gonna get mad about anything, it's that they're objectifying a woman, right? If you want to go way back to the feminist
they say that
perspective.
they're referencing the Brooke Shields ad,
Right.
which was problematic, sexualizing a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I have more of a problem with that than I do with the Sydney Sweeney ad.
Absolutely.
I mean, what they're doing with Sydney Sweeney ad is they're putting all this context onto it that is it there? Was it the intention or was it not the intention? I mean, they're like, I was reading something saying, well, American Eagle is a clear Trump supporting company and that they always just use white women in their ads. I don't know whether that's true or not. Frankly, I don't think American Eagle jeans are that really high profile.
Right.
That people are paying attention to them. And maybe this is all just a clever ploy by some Madison Avenue ad agency to get people talking about jeans that nobody gave them.
And how about this?
Resurgence to the
There are a
brand.
lot of people who are registered Republicans,
and
black,
they're not
white,
all
Asian, everything.
Nazis.
And the second thing is, don't like it, don't buy American Eagle brand. Anything.
Right.
Just don't do it.
Don't get on social media and think you're doing activism. Like, I actually saw a black girl with locks and that were dyed blonde. We won't even talk about that. But she's standing outside of an American Eagle, and the guy behind the camera asks her, "Oh, are you going in there to shop?" And she says, "No, I can't go in there. I'm black." Like,
what?
It's such a disconnect for me. Like, where is your sense of logic even? Did they say that they don't like black people?
Right.
And not to mention that every company is trying to make a profit, right? So they're going to sell to their bottom line customer. Their bottom line customer is probably 12 to 16-year-old white girls that are skinny with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Exactly.
All over America.
Exactly.
So what are you talking about?
I mean, also, I think it seems like a big leap to me that when she says, or I guess in the ad, it says Sydney Sweeney has good jeans, then you're going to make this leap to they're promoting the Aryan ideal woman.
Right.
And that somehow this only means blonde hair and blue eyes is better than anybody else. They didn't say she has the best jeans.
Right.
They just said she has good jeans. Anybody would argue that, yes, she does.
It's
because look
marketing.
at her.
Right.
Right? I mean, they're not saying her blue eyes are better than brown eyes, or white skin is better than black skin, or blonde is better than brunette. They're not saying that. They're just saying she has good jeans.
But here you go.
She does.
Look at what social media does. This 30-second soundbite mentality. People have done it before social media. They did it with the news. You see something, sensationalism, it goes. Marketing, that's how it affects people. They take it and they go with it.
Aren't these people that are objecting to it really just bringing a ton more publicity to American Eagle than anybody? I mean, honestly, I'd never even seen the ad before everybody was started talking about it. So if they had just shut up, it would have just gone away and nobody would have been thinking twice about it.
I saw that their sales or their stock or something increased 26% in the last, 2 weeks since this thing.
It's a shit about American Eagle jeans before this.
But nobody's thinking about that. That's what I'm saying. Give it some thought. What are you doing? When you quash it, it goes away.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just ignore
Don't
it.
fan the fire.
Right.
It'll disappear.
All of that. And I'd like to make this segue. This is why I think there is such contention between Democrats and liberals now, because liberals, woke liberals, I'm going to call them, because I think a few of us identify as liberals at this table, but not necessarily the woke version of that, right? They're driving people to the conservative side with this line of thought that they have, that everything is an attack or a demonization on people of color. The fact that they're misconstruing just basic advertisements with their mind virus woke ideologies they believed. They're driving people to these alt-right religious movements like Christ Church in Moscow, Idaho. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. There was a streamer I follow on YouTube. He's quite big, Asmongold, and people have opinions about him, but I like his reactions to certain things. But he reacted. This was retweeted by our current Secretary of Defense. I can't think of his name now. But it was an MSNBC news story about this leader of Christ Church in Moscow, Idaho. The head pastor he's a Christian nationalist. They believe in the husband should lead. They want to take voting rights away from women. And his flock is growing by the day. And the streamer brought up a good point. He said, this is going to be popular amongst Gen Zers and the younger generations, because a lot of young male Gen Zers are Trump supporters, actually. Because women and the Me Too movement have demonized men, to the point of making them all creeps, regardless of if they really are or not. So I think this is only making Trump supporters more emboldened, more powerful. Or even if you're a conservative that doesn't support Trump, it's ushering people from the other side to come over to conservatism, because they don't do that on their side,
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting what you're saying, because, right, the Democratic Party used to be the party of the working class, and a lot of those people are white male, a lot of them not college educated. That was say 30 years ago. Well, say a generation ago.
Yeah, right.
And now, in one generation, the Democratic Party has totally lost the working class. They've become this party associated with intellectual elites, a party that's completely out of touch with what normal people go through in their everyday life, because what they've decided to do is, the Democratic Party has decided to take up the banner of the smallest possible minority that might feel put upon by the majority. And they basically have taken the stance that they want everybody in society to contort themselves and change their behavior and ways of speech, so that this tiny, probably less than 1% in some cases, some minority doesn't feel put upon, or that they feel seen. And it's just gotten to the point of ridiculousness.
You will never not be able to offend someone.
Right.
Or leave someone out.
Basically, that put Trump in office.
Absolutely.
Because people were like, wait a minute, I'm not going down this road. And to your point then about these Gen Zers, right, who are moving towards these conservative movements, I can't say exactly when it was, but right, there was a certain point. You'll remember that when it became vilified to be a white male.
Yes.
Right. And everything was laid at their doorstep. All the wrongs were laid at their doorstep. And that was really a bad thing to do, because basically the Democrats drove all those white male voters into the Republican camp.
Exactly.
And that's what we have today.
It's creating another divide, too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because remember the comments we read on something the other day we were watching?
Oh, yeah. It's with this black fatigue trend. I don't know if you've heard of that. Well, it's where people, both white, anybody, are getting tired of Black people exhibiting what we would call ghetto behavior, like causing scenes or fights in grocery stores or doing stuff that Black people call it ratchet behavior, like dressing poorly, dressing inappropriately at some place.
These women who wear bonnets.
Yeah.
Sleep bonnet. It's a sleep bonnet. Silk-lined sleep bonnet that you can, some women wear to bed, and now they're using it for everyday attire.
Yeah. I remember some moms coming to teacher conferences in house coat and slippers.
No.
Those are inside clothes.
Inside clothes. And but the comments, there was one
there were
content creator who put something out.
Yeah, not even a content creator, but
reacting
to this video, just like, and they were all, I would say they were probably conservative white males, but quite a few of this is how they act. Ugh, the Blacks, gross. And what do? I said, who is making these comments? And I looked, the subscriptions are for people who are gun owners, YouTube channels where they review guns, conservative,
Dave Ramsey,
conservative Christian influencers and stuff. I'm like, yep, this is definitely a trend. And I always say, like, when you vilify any group in society, in this case, white males, the tide is going to swing back so hard. This is how you get enrollment in the KKK. When people feel like their voice is not valued and heard, and they're told that they're the problem, you're going to get Trump supporters. You're going to get a resurgence in neo-Nazis. I always just jokingly said this, but now it's probably going to be a reality. We're going to end up and find ourselves in The Handmaid's Tale. If there's no pushback from these liberals saying this crazy stuff and vilifying these people, you're going to look up and we will be living under a truly patriarchal society where women don't have a voice and people of color are eradicated because they do want a master race. I mean, that's how scary I think it could get, but I know that might be a little bit extreme on my part, but when people don't feel valued and heard, they fight back.
Right. Yeah. So basically, I guess our take is that they went too far, blaming everything on a white male to the point that they also retreated into extremism. I guess you might say, right?
I mean, historically, if you look at it, that's what's happened.
Like, so with
this country.
Yeah.
Since the beginning, that's what's happened. Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I follow a lot of craft people on Instagram, and there's a woman who is a yarn crafter. I think she's crocheting and knitting. She has her own business making patterns. She's also an author. And lately she's been posting a lot of things about how all these yarn events are primarily white and that she doesn't feel safe going to these yarn events. And she kind of, she's bordering on calling people who set up these events and don't have many people of color either presenting or selling. She's basically calling them racist, and she's saying that she, as a Black person, doesn't feel comfortable walking into a place that has mostly white people and white women, and that they should understand that. And she refuses to be a token, and she only wants to be at events that are primarily, Black, people of color, BIPOC kind of events. And it's like, okay, I understand, like, did she have a bad experience in one of those events? I don't know. I mean, some people in the comments to her posts have said, oh, I feel the same way, even though I've never had a bad experience. So I'm just like, well, I'm not really sure what you're saying then.
Right.
And then if you're so militant about having to have all these other people represented, not white people, maybe white people wouldn't want to come to your events because you seem so set against them and feel that every white person is somehow a racist.
So does she provide products that people purchase?
I think I haven't looked extensively into everything, but I believe that she creates patterns and her patterns are sold.
So I wonder if she discriminates. Like, let me see, is this consumer, are these dollars that I'm going to get paid for my patterns coming from white households or from Black? Oh, no, I can't sell to them. They're white.
Right.
That's insane.
It is.
And if she goes to a doctor, she's had a car accident or something, is she going to ask for a white doctor Black doctor and Black nurses only? I mean, that's insane. You have to choose this stuff.
Right.
And that's where I'm sorry. As a Black woman, that's insane.
Yeah. And I say, like, always, that's my thing. I guess I'll speak for the younger generation. I've seen a lot of Black millennials talk about, like, having that victim mentality, like, why are we still talking about slavery? And I'm of that opinion too, because yes, okay, it happened. But when you walk around with a victim mentality for generations and you acknowledge it at every fucking turn, how are you going to evolve as a people if you keep bringing up some trauma that started 400 years ago, ended about 250? Why do you keep bringing that into the conversation? If you truly want to make progress and move forward, you do that. You don't have to bring up the fact that there's not a lot of diversity or inclusion at an event that you go to. If you're a creative person in the crocheting and arts and crafts community, don't you just want to get your product out there or your creative vision out there? It doesn't matter how it happens.
Well,
And if she had no negative experiences to begin with, like you said, why all the
right. Well, she was not the one who said she never had a negative experience. It was a
okay.
commenter to her
Okay.
post. But yes, it is true that, you know, she made one of her posts said that if you set up an event and you invite me and you can't prove to me that you've bent over backwards to invite every BIPOC, Black, you know, creator
Right.
out there, I'm not interested in going. And I'm
Yikes.
just
That's
kind of like,
crazy.
well, why are you putting it on that organizer to do that? I mean, if
Right.
it's so important to you that these events, maybe you want segregated events now,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's
I mean,
And it could
thinking
be
like
that.
I could go to this event and make a huge amount of money,
Mhm.
build wealth, and create my own whatever it is,
Mhm.
and make mega money off of these people, all people.
Mhm.
She's
Right.
choosing to stay in that. I mean, yes, we know. I still, at my age, I think about things sometimes when things happen and I say, that's because of slavery. I know that,
Right.
but I don't let it stop
But
me.
you exactly.
And I know how to get ahead of it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We know that money is power and you can build wealth and put it in your
Absolutely.
community and help all kinds of people,
Right.
right? But you don't have to go telling everybody that.
Right.
You know, and
This
you
is why
should
it
be able
is.
to sit and have a group of friends and people that you associate with and sit down and break bread, share business ideas with that don't have the same political views or
Right.
world views.
You should.
You should not
should do
limit
that.
yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm thankful to have grown up in a household where I saw all kinds of people. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for that, because it does expand your mind. You shouldn't limit yourself like that.
At all.
You shouldn't choose that. You don't forget that,
right.
you know, the Japanese were interned
Right.
or
Right.
Black people were slaves. I mean, there were a lot of people who were slaves. But
Right.
that's
There are people who are still slaves, to be honest
exactly.
with you.
Come on. That's
So,
see.
and this just slightly came to my head, but it's kind of closely related. Not slightly, it did come to my head, where I've heard a bunch of Black people say, oh, Black people can't be racist. That is the biggest crock of shit I have ever heard in my life. Anybody can be racist.
Mhm.
Just because you think you are a darker hue, you can't
Absolutely.
say racist
I think
things.
we
Like,
all can speak to racism in our own community that are not
Amen.
white.
exactly. So that is our take for this week. If you like our show, you like what we're doing, we have a YouTube channel. We have our podcast website through Buzzsprout. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Castbox, wherever you like to listen. We are most likely there. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you want to send us a text message, check the show notes. We will actually get your text and we will probably read it on the air. So be kind. But if you want to say anything or ask us a question, feel free to. We will see you guys again next week. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Take care.